Welcome to Sir Lancelot's Real Estate Roundtable, your guide to mastering the realm of real estate in Central East Florida. I am Sir Lancelot Leonard, ready to uncover the secrets of seller strategies, home staging, mortgage mastery, and more. From Daytona Beach to Cocoa Beach, Lake County to St. Augustine, join me as we navigate the intricacies of real estate. As the leader of the Sir Lancelot Group at Florida Homes Realty and Mortgage, I'm here to arm you with knowledge and innovation, whether you're a seasoned homeowner or a first-time buyer, unveiling the kingdom of real estate, one roundtable at a time. Welcome to today's episode of the Real Estate Roundtable, where we dive deep into the world of real estate with industry experts. Today, we have a special guest, Ben Glynn, a seasoned real estate professional with an impressive 26 years of experience. Ben is the team lead of the Glynn Team, a top-performing real estate team in Northeast Florida. Ben's extensive knowledge and dedication have consistently placed him in the top 5% of realtors in the region. We're thrilled to have him on the show to share his insights and expertise. Welcome, Ben.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
So tell me a little bit about yourself. 25 years in the business. You don't even have any gray hair. I don't know how you do it. Just a little bit.
Just a good camera angle right now, I guess.
So, Ben, How did you get here? Tell me, how did everything start? Tell me a little bit about yourself.
You know, it's funny. I never thought I was going to get into real estate, and I actually fell into it. So my wife, when she and I first were together, she was in real estate, and I was in corporate sales. And she had gotten a call. This was when we lived back in Wisconsin. And she got a call from a developer, and the developer wanted to do a new project in the town where we lived, and it was a small town. It was only about 7,500 people. And so they asked if she could come in and do a business proposal to them about how she would go about selling their product and getting it listed and handle the project. They were looking to do about 100 units in the project. Some were 8-family units, some were side-by-sides. And so she asked me if I would help her put together kind of a business plan and come up with the back end data and make it look professional, because I had done more of that in the corporate sales area. So I went with her to do the presentation, and the developer really liked it. And they said, great, you guys are our team. And I said, well, it's not you guys, it's my wife. I'm just here helping. And they said, well, if it's not the two of you, then we don't want to do it. We just want it if it's both you guys. So
that's a great feeling. That must have felt great,
It was, yeah. It was very flattering. And at the time, the business world was good. So I figured I could take a little time off and do this. And I figured I would get right back into corporate sales probably 6 months down the road. Well, now here we are 20 some years later, and we're still doing real estate. So
that is awesome. It's a great story of how you started in real estate. Tell me a little bit about the real estate market in your area in Jacksonville and the surrounding areas like St. John and St. Augustine. What are some insights that you see as a 26-year into the business veteran, Because it depends on who's running or who's holding the reins, It's different for everybody right now in this market. So tell me a little bit about what you see.
Right. So we've still seen the market being really pretty strong. It's been such a whirlwind these last couple of years, obviously, with the whole COVID scenario and those couple of unicorn years or magic years or whatever you want to call them when we had those things going on. But we're still really fortunate in Northeast Florida because St. Johns County is very strong and very well known. It has been ranked as the number one, and I think now it's certainly at least in the top 3 or 4 school districts in the entire state of Florida. So that's a big draw for people that are relocating and coming in here. And I would say in the last probably 3 years of our business, probably 65 to 70% of people that have been relocating into the state of Florida. And oftentimes they've got families, they're looking for good school districts. And even if they don't have families, that a lot of people like the idea of moving to an area that has a really strong school district, because that typically also lends to property values holding and continuing to increase, or at least stabilizing and not having those big drops or potential for big drops in the area. So we've really been strong. I live in St. Johns County. I actually live in St. Augustine. There's a lot of new growth and development, but there's also a lot of existing stuff. I mean, we're now back to about 4 months worth of inventory, where we had been running at about a month and a half to 2 months. So we had been a severe shortage. So we're now catching up. The market's kind of getting a little bit more even. It's not just a seller's market anymore, which it had been for the last couple of years. So it's becoming a little bit more even in this area as well.
That's awesome. So I've noticed you got that hard hat behind you. I was wondering what that entails. Tell me a little bit more about that
Yes.
hard hat.
So one of the things that we take very strongly, the Glynn team, is really our partnership and our ability to give back to the community. So when we first started here in Jacksonville, we were looking for a charity, a partner to partner up with. And there's a group called Hunger Fight, who we met the owners. We actually went through NEFAR, the Northeast Florida Association of Realtors. They had a packing event with Hunger Fight. And I don't know if you're familiar with the organization, but they provide meals and books to children and the elderly. They started off here in Jacksonville, and now I think they're in, boy, I want to say 15 or 16 different states. And I'm fortunate enough now to be on the board of directors for Hunger Fight. So they are breaking ground on a new home office, a new building, and that was one of the hard hats that we wore when we broke ground.
I did not expect this to come out of that hard hat. I was expecting some kind of new construction stuff, but bro, I am so honored to be here with you on this. I mean, I do run my own charity too for children and education for children. We
Oh,
do
that's
feed
awesome.
about 30 to 40 kids in Uganda every month. So I am all for that. I am really, this is really cool.
Yeah, it's great. They're a wonderful organization, and it's so funny because, we obviously like giving closing gifts and sitting down at the closing table, and that's where things are always usually very happy and exciting and positive. And we give a certificate to each of our clients because we take a percentage of each transaction and we donate that toward Hunger Fight. And what we do is provide them with a certificate that shows them how many meals their contribution has provided to feeding these kids. And I tell you, people are more excited and more emotional about that almost than they are getting the keys to the house. It's crazy.
That is really good. I do the same thing pretty much, but I'd never give them a certificate. Maybe I should start doing that. I just tell them that certain percentage of my commission goes towards the charity. And they're like, oh, awesome, great. And that's pretty much what, but I think a certificate showing what it actually does will definitely show a little bit more value for them. Why
Yeah,
don't
it's
you?
nice. Just a little keepsake for them. And a lot of times, we'll go back after they've closed and they invite us over to see their house. And that's one of the first things that they show us is where that certificate is placed, and if they've hung it on the wall or if they've got it on the mantle of the fireplace or wherever they put it.
That's awesome. So the next question is, with 26 years of experience, what are some key lessons you've learned throughout your real estate career? And would you like to share that with us?
Sure, sure. It's funny because I've taken a lot of different classes. I've been fortunate enough to present to different things and be on some different panels and see different speakers who are very well known in the industry. And the one thing that I've seen is, and some people might disagree with this, but there really isn't a magic bullet. There's not one thing. I mean, I've always believed that if I'm showing you houses and I take you into a house, there's no word or phrase or body language or anything else that I can do that's going to make you buy that home if you don't want to buy the home. So the thing is, you've got to be consistent. You've got to stay in contact with people, and you've got to be a good conversationalist, I think is the main thing. And you've got to be able to ask the questions and provide enough information for the client to feel comfortable in making that purchase or making that sale of the real estate. So for me, it's always been about getting to know the person as well as I can, asking as many questions as I can, providing as much data as I can, and then making sure that when I do have that client, I follow up with them, love them, pay attention to them, focus on them so that they want to give me referrals. They want to continue using me as they go on. And that's really helped me in the last couple of years, because I would say the last 2, 3 years probably 60%-ish of business has been referrals and repeat business.
That's what happened to me this year. I paid for marketing quite a bit,
Hmm.
realtor.com, etc.
Yep.
Have gotten zero deals out of them this year so far. Everything I've done, about 4.5 million so far, was all referral or past clients. It's
Good for
crazy.
you. That's
Yeah.
great. Yeah. And it's so nice when you can get your business up and going that way. Because I'm like you, when I moved here from Wisconsin, I didn't know anybody. In Wisconsin, I had my family, I had everybody that I went to school with. And then I came here and all that went away. So I had to start my business from scratch. And it was online leads. It was working with different places, spending thousands and thousands of dollars a month. And the only thing consistent was that money being taken out of my account every month.
That is so true. That is so true. I'm new to this area as well. I've only been here for 5 years. So I know I was heavy on the online. I think I got lucky too because of 2022 and 2021 that we got hit by so many people coming from the north.
Right,
So,
right.
so that was definitely a positive thing because they all looked on Zillow and Realtor.com. So we got a lot of those leads coming from there. But
Absolutely.
getting back to you, what sets the Glynn team apart from other real estate teams in your area?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is my wife and I work together as a team, and there are a couple things. I mean, one is just the husband-wife angle because it's two very different perspectives and two very different approaches. But as the client, you get both of us. So you get the best of both worlds, or, oftentimes I say I'm the worst half and you get stuck with me and you get my wife, or sometimes you have to work with me because my wife's not available. But there's definitely that husband-wife angle. But the other thing is we've done so many things that our clients have done as far as, I mean, we've had to move ourselves numerous times. I think the last count that we did between my wife and I, we lived in 47 different homes
Wow.
between college and moving around for that and high school and then right out of school and not having places to go. And then we did the cross country moves and we did the moves with our kids that were younger. So we had to pull them out of a school district that they liked or away from friends and getting into new places. And we had to move because of job changes or we had to move because of family situations. So there's a lot of things that we've done that we can certainly empathize with our clients because we've been there. And it's not exactly the same, certainly, but we can understand some of the concern or some of the questions or some of the excitement or some of the anticipation. So that's a big thing. And then again, I just keep falling back on the communication part. We're overly communicative. Oftentimes we have people say, like, you don't have to call me every other day, but we like to make sure that people are aware of things, their questions are answered, and they're not having to chase us down. We want to be sure that we're available to them.
That is awesome. So, little side question. How do you keep consistently being in the top 5% of realtors? I mean, a couple hundred people, because I'm thinking up in Jacksonville and St. John's and St. August, you guys have quite a bit of agents, like at least five,
Right.
6, 7,000 agents. Top 5% is a big deal. So, how do you keep consistently being part of that special group of the 5%ers there?
Yeah, well, we've been very lucky and fortunate to be, we've had a lot of great clients. We have a lot of time that we spend nurturing those clients. And our goal, and it's not a tagline, but we really want our clients to be our friends at the end of the transaction. And most of them become friends with us. And so we do a lot of dinners or parties or events or things to even just to get our clients together to meet one another because we know that we're all kind of similar in personalities and we can kind of pick people and say, hey, he moved from New York and you moved from New York and you guys might want to talk because you can discuss the different things and the different changes. And you guys both came from the Midwest and you guys are both, Jaguars fans or whatever it may be. So there's a lot of just that connection and keeping in touch with people. But the other thing I will say is we're very much experts in our market. So we know the different communities. We know the different sales. We know the different incentives that are going on. We know when things are coming to the market in the next week. And so when we get a call from a client and we're able to learn what they're looking for and hear a little bit about what they want, we can typically pinpoint a couple of neighborhoods and a couple of areas based on what they're talking about that fits right into what they're looking for.
That is awesome. Yeah, that definitely helps. And going out on a side a little bit here, common challenges that buyers and sellers face right now in today's market, and how do you guys overcome those challenges?
Sure, sure. Well, the challenges for a long time for us had really been inventory. There wasn't enough stuff on the market. And now that's organically just kind of catching up a little bit. So we are getting a little bit more of that inventory. Now, of course, you've got the interest rate challenge on the one side. So we've got a lot of strong lender partners that we can go to and get the best rates and figure out what the best scenario is for these clients. But those are definitely big challenges. So the inventory on the one hand and the interest rates on the other hand, I would say right now are our two biggest challenges.
And how do you overcome them?
So overcoming, again, for us, it's really being that market expert and knowing what's going on. And also, we deal with a lot of new construction.
Mhm.
So we have a lot of relationships with those site agents, with those builders. And oftentimes, I'll get a call from somebody and say, hey, this house just came back on the market and we don't have any other inventory for the next 6 months, but this one's coming on the market today. I'm sure it's going to be gone in the next 2 days. Do you have a buyer? Do you have somebody ready for it? So it helps to develop those relationships so that they call you and let you
Oh,
know when
you,
the
yeah.
inventory is coming.
And of course, builders are also given insane incentives nowadays.
Yes,
So you can definitely overcome the interest rate question. It's like, hey, I got a builder, 499, percent
absolutely.
interest, it's like going back a few years in the past.
Right. Right. Well, it's funny you say that. I actually had a client about 2 weeks ago who was looking for an investment property. And we went in and met with a builder who actually was giving an incentive 5.5% interest rate for an investment property.
Wow,
And
that's good.
so, we got them under contract. And then I called two of my other clients who also do some investment and said, I'm not doing anything right now because the interest rates are so crazy. And I said, hey, you can get new construction right now for about 1.5 to 2 points under what current market values are. And they both bought a property too, knowing how to leverage that. And again, listening to what your clients want and being able to provide that for them.
I mean, 5.5 seems like a reasonable place for an investor. Even when it was 3% or 3.5% for primary buyers, investment loans were still 5%. So
Absolutely.
if you get a 5.5% for an investment property, that's like nothing happened, like that's really good.
Exactly, exactly.
Really.
I was shocked when the site agent first told me that. I said, wait a minute, did I hear you right? That's an investment rate? And they said, yeah, that's what we did. And they bought up a bunch of money and they did it throughout the company. So it was
Yeah.
so throughout all their projects in the United States. And they said, look, I don't mean to pressure you, but it's one of these things when the money's gone, it's gone. So I don't know if it's going to last another day, if it's going to last another week. But we spread the word out to our clients right away about that one.
That is awesome. So first time home buyers,
Yes.
any tips for them in this amazing market that we're having right now in and St. Augustine and St. Johns County?
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I love working with first-time home buyers, and it's always interesting to me because I have to step back oftentimes because it's like, I've been dealing with this and living in this world for 20 plus years. And I always tell clients this when I'm working with them, like, listen, just so you know, I'm going to throw things out because I'm kind of submersed in this world, but I know that you don't know the things that I'm talking about. So please stop me if I'm, using an acronym or using a word that you don't understand or using terms that you don't understand. So it's a lot of an education process because it's interesting how many people I've seen first-time home buyers who they're afraid to ask a question, but they have the question, but they're not what the answer is. And I'm like, look, you guys, this is a huge investment. Like, make sure you ask the question, we'll answer it for you. So a lot of it is just kind of sitting down with them up front and setting expectations and learning what do they know? Do they know about pre-approvals? Do they know what their finances are? Do they know what they want to spend per month? That's a big thing that I talk about with first-time buyers is because they always say, well, I'm pre-approved for 300,000 or 350,000 or whatever the
Yeah.
number may be. And I say, okay, that's great, but that really doesn't mean anything at the end of the day. I mean, what's your monthly spend? Because as you know, living in Florida, one of the things that was a big change for me when I came here from Wisconsin was these things called CDD fees, these community development district fees, and the HOA fees. And I said, your principal and interest payment could be $1,200 a month. But when you factor in the CDD fees and the HOA, you might be up to $1,600 or $1,700 a month, where you were thinking you were going to spend $1,200. So again, that education process and making sure that they know what their finances are, and so we can get them into that right house that meets that for them.
That is awesome. Thank you for that. And what role does technology play in your real estate practice, and how do you use it to benefit your clients?
Yeah.
Tell me a
So
little bit about that.
technology is huge, and I'm not overly technical. I know how to do the basics, and I'm dangerous enough to get me into trouble, but by no means an expert. But the big thing for us, it's really the phone. As I say, a lot of our clients are from other states. As you know, these photographers come in for listings and they make the place look phenomenal. But when you actually get there, you didn't see the factory next door, the broken down fence in the back, or whatever it may be. So one of the things that we do, especially for our out-of-state clients, is if there's a house that they're interested in, we'll go and physically do like a FaceTime with them. So we'll show them the neighborhood, we'll show them the outside looking in, we'll show them the background and every other angle. And we'll be honest with them about things that we see in the house. If there are issues, if there's funky colored wall, if there's frayed carpet, whatever it may be, just so they are aware of that going in and they know that. But the other technology stuff that we do is really, we have things that are automated. So we use Dotloop for all our documents. So kind of the e-sign and an easy way to do that. And then different title companies have their different portals and those sorts of things. So it's really just staying in touch with them and also making sure for clients that they understand you are going to get an email from such and such person at this company. That's okay. It's not spam. You can open that. And also explaining them on the back end what not to do, for example, with wiring instructions, and making sure that they're following up on that. So those things are the biggest things that we work on right now.
That is awesome. That is really informative. So Ben, final question.
Yes, sir.
What has been the best part of your day so far?
Are you kidding me? This is the best part of my day so far, bar none.
Yeah, that is awesome. I like waking up in the mornings, stuff like that. You get all sorts of stuff for that. I see those football and baseball, or is that just baseball? I'm not sure exactly, behind you, the memorabilia.
Yes. Yes. Mostly football. I'm still a huge Packer fan, and I started when I was, I think, 16 or 17. My dad got me a framed autographed Packer picture, which is actually the one directly behind me here. And that was my first entry into collectibles. So I've been continuing to do that for 40 years or so now.
Wow, that's a cool hobby. You must have your office full of those.
Yes, it's a lot of fun, except when I'm talking to someone who doesn't like the Packers and they see that in the background.
I'm not a super big sports guy. I mean, I love watching, I love playing, I love doing sports. I was a semi-professional athlete back in the day, but I do not follow any of them because I don't have time. I'm a realtor. Sundays, I'm out working, showing houses. I don't have time to watch football. I watch one game a year. That's the Super Bowl. That's what I get. I call my wife, we order some chicken wings, and we sit down and watch the show, the halftime show. That's what she loves.
Well, come on, I see all those Spartan medals behind you. You're certainly doing something right.
Yeah. That's my trifecta and stuff like that. Yeah, I got that. And I do a lot of Tony Robbins events too. So
nice.
I love coaching and getting coaching, and I think it's a major part of how to become successful. I think,
Good. I would agree.
Ben, thank you for coming on the show. Really appreciated you, and I would love to see you some more if we get a chance.
Fantastic. That'd be great. I appreciate the time.
Thank you for joining us on Sir Lancelot's Real Estate Roundtable, where we've unveiled the mysteries of real estate together. Remember, in this kingdom of possibilities, every dream home is just a discussion away. I can help your real estate dreams come true. Just call me at 786-449-7518. Until our next roundtable, may your ventures be prosperous and your homes be filled with love and joy. Farewell, fellow knights of real estate.